From the School of Journalism and Mass Communication at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill, this is Carolina Week.
Good evening, and thanks for joining us for the September 13th edition of Carolina Week. I'm Katie Perlin.
And I'm Bridget Williams. We're proud to be bringing you Carolina news and events.
The new year here at UNC-Chapel Hill features a new university leader.
Dr. James Measer moved into the Chancellor's office in South Building just a few weeks before students returned to campus. He comes to the top administration spot here at Carolina from the University of Nebraska.
And as Carolina Week's Dana Rosengard reports, Chancellor Measer has high hopes and long goals for the university.
Excitement, exhilaration, pleasure in the beauty of the place and in the quality of the people that I've met.
That's how UNC-Chapel Hill's new Chancellor, Dr. James Measer, describes his first few weeks on campus. Describing the job he faces takes fewer words.
Well, the first priority is clearly the bond issue. That's the first, second, and third priority.
A priority worth $3.1 billion, aimed at improving higher education facilities statewide. The largest bond proposal in state history, up for a public vote this November. His job? Promote it. So he charges cross-campus at a quick clip to speak on this day to students gathered at the Black Cultural Center.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Measer speaks of his support for the new Black Cultural Center and then about the bond issue.
It will affect the next generation of North Carolinians and the generation after that even more than it will affect us.
He was very easy to talk to, and he seemed to be very interested in many issues that our campus is very actively concerned about.
I don't envy him at all because he's got to be fundraiser, cheerleader, all those things, and he's got to boost our morale as faculty, staff, and students. So it's going to be challenging.
The Chancellor's challenge extends beyond the halls and walls of campus. As the top administrator at UNC-Chapel Hill, Dr. Measer has set out to meet and greet the people of the greater Carolina community as well.
So I present our new Chancellor. I'm so proud of Dr. James Measer.
This weekly Chapel Hill Rotary Club meeting attracted nearly twice as many members and guests as usual. They turned out to hear from the new UNC leader.
The university, as we have seen in the past, has a glorious history, and it would appear that our new Chancellor is going to be able to make it equally as glorious in his term.
I may not be a Tar Heel born nor a Tar Heel bred, but I'm going to be a Tar Heel dead when I die.
But not until long after he accomplishes, he hopes, much of what he has set out to do. In Chapel Hill, I'm Dana Rosengard, Carolina Week.
You don't need a one card to access UNC's newest library, iBiblio. The website was launched this week and provides a wide variety of downloadable material for free. It was made possible by a $4 million gift from the Red Hat Center, a public foundation dedicated to the free exchange of ideas. Dubbed the Public's Library, it's expected to become the largest collection of free multimedia material on the web. Former Byrds singer Roger McGuinn has built an online collection of folk music on iBiblio. After attending the site's launch, McGuinn gave this UNC History of Rock class a taste of the past and a glimpse of the future. He told students about his hopes that iBiblio will help to preserve artistic expression on the internet. You can check out the site at ibiblio.org. That website again is ibiblio.org. Technology is also abundant in the Johnston Center for Undergraduate Excellence. The recently renovated building is designed to make life a little easier for everyone. With the center's new smart boards, students and faculty can immediately turn handwritten board work into digital notes. Also, the boards have video conferencing that can link classrooms around the world, and the advantages don't stop there. The boards can work as projectors or dry erase boards. This state-of-the-art technology is one of the many ways UNC is trying to rethink the way we teach and learn.
The First Year Initiative is a housing program that allows students, graduate mentors, and faculty to interact. Carolina Week's Angie McKinney has more about this unique community.
Knee to knee, hand to head, these Carolina students and faculty are getting to know each other. The low ropes course is just one way students in the FYI program will spend time together this school year. An RA in the program, Katie Wade, says there are other things that will keep FYI students busy this year.
The responsibilities mainly include doing what we do, like they have to go to their dialogue group, which I mean it's nothing painful, it's a lot of fun stuff, but they are required to go to dialogue group, they're required to do community service, and they're required to attend a certain number of programs during the semester.
It doesn't sound like Wade will hear any complaining about attending FYI functions. Laura Burleson says she likes attending her discussion group.
I get to hear so many different people's, points of view. But like from our high school, like everybody pretty much kind of thought the same thing. And here you get so many different points of views.
The FYI program is also helping participants cross the barriers that exist between high school and college, home life, and dorm life.
Because students in the FYI program all live on the 4th and 5th floors of Airing House, they weren't quite so scared when they stepped off the elevator on move-in day.
According to Christina Simpson, another FYI participant, living among her friends has been a huge help.
Thus far, I've really enjoyed how there is like a community. I think that's what's most important.
If FYI helps Christina and her fellow students become a part of the Carolina community, then the program will have met one of its major goals. In Chapel Hill, I'm Angie McKinney, Carolina Week.
One program for FYI participants is coming up this weekend. Students are invited to get dressed up for a semi-formal.
Several members of the senior class of 2001 learn what it means to help others
by helping Hurricane Floyd victims. Carolina Week has the story when we return.
I wonder how Silent Sam feels about guarding the university from groups of third-grade kids. Maybe he's lost interest. We haven't heard his rifle fire recently. Still he stands, a steadfast defender of something. What is it? No one knows the real Carolina like a student. Carolina Week, the student news show.
What services come to mind when you think of the American Red Cross?
The Red Cross does blood drives, don't they?
They help out with natural disasters.
Giving blood.
Tornadoes and hurricanes.
Blood.
Natural disasters.
I'll bet you didn't know that the American Red Cross also provides emergency services for military families and delivers health and safety instruction in first aid, lifeguard training, and CPR. Contact your local Red Cross chapter to learn more about the services they provide.
With admission rates increasing, campus expansion is inevitable. But with UNC's new master plan, new housing is probably going to be a problem for local residents. Carolina Week reporter Jessica Pratt has the story.
Students who live on South Campus, but all the construction signs and cones have neighbors worried these signs might end up in their backyard. UNC's new master plan to expand South Campus is causing a big stir for residents in the Mason Farm White Hood neighborhood.
I think we feel that this is sort of the beginning of encroachment on neighborhoods.
The master plan calls for the construction of a road connecting Fordham Boulevard to a point near the UNC Healthcare Complex and new graduate student housing along Mason Farm Road. Officials would also build a new 4-lane highway through the neighborhood, easing traffic on Manning Road, but leaving homeowners like Peg Reeves looking for a new place to live.
I guess where Odie's Road now is, I mean, it would be like this big expansion of Odie's Road, and it will destroy these 3 houses.
For the plan to work, at least 13 houses must be purchased and torn down. So far, the university has purchased 5 homes. If the 8 remaining homeowners don't want to sell, they may not have a choice. Ken Brown, spokesman for the Mason Farm White Hood neighborhood.
The university has the power of eminent domain, which means that they could in essence institute court actions to take the property from individuals for compensation.
But residents hope it won't go that far and will meet with Town Council on September 27th.
What we want to do is raise community awareness. We want to raise the university's awareness.
The future of the neighborhood is unclear, but growth on South Campus isn't. And while the master plan is still up in the air, Peg Reeves remains grounded in her resolve to preserve her neighborhood.
We don't plan anything right now.
Right, anything?
We have recently retired, and one of our retirement things was to be able to enjoy the house and work in the yard, and so we're just going to keep doing that.
Both sides hope they can work out a solution to avoid a feud between residents and school officials. I'm Jessica Pratt in Chapel Hill, Carolina Week.
Residents have until January to petition against the master plan. We'll bring you an update after the town council meeting. With UNC expansion comes the issue of safety for pedestrians around the construction sites. Operators of bulldozers and front-end loaders are working to improve UNC's campus, but in the meantime, they're making getting around hazardous. Construction areas near the student union and hospital are causing pedestrians some problems. Unfamiliar traffic patterns in construction zones make crossing the street more dangerous. Campus police advise pedestrians to use the designated crosswalks in these areas. New crossing signs can be found across campus. Look out for the signs and cars until construction is complete.
Female students are enjoying some new living space as a result of yet another broken tradition. The scenery is changing in Old East and Old West. For the first time since 1793, women are allowed to live in the historic dorms because an initiative started a year ago. The 2 dormitories are the oldest buildings on any public university campus in the United States. They've never housed female students. But in spite of a more than 200-year-old tradition, most students did not oppose the change.
Wait, I mean, if you were to film, we always bother me too much. The dorm does seem quieter though, so that's different. There's some minor adjustments like the windows being locked and things like that, but it doesn't bother me at all.
When the plan was first presented, some men in the dorms were concerned about being displaced, but no returning residents were forced out to make room for the women.
The UNC Center for Public Service is still rebuilding eastern North Carolina a year after Hurricane Floyd. Along with other UNC seniors, I recently discovered there's lots of work left to do. About 20 Carolina seniors geared up for a hands-on day of hard work for a good cause. They clearly learned the value of sweat equity. Annie Jacobs is one of several Hurricane Floyd victims left homeless by the floods. Like many other eastern North Carolina residents, she and her family are living in a mobile home donated by FEMA. Jacobs says she's thankful for volunteers like these UNC seniors.
I enjoy seeing them coming and working, and every time I see them come, I get happy.
Jay Manalo is just one of the seniors helping Jacobs get closer to her moving day.
I figured, I got a free weekend, so why not? I've been wanting to do it for a while. And like I've been telling everybody, it's for a good cause.
The United Methodist Disaster Recovery Team is working closely with UNC volunteers. Recovery experts estimate it will be another 2 to 5 years before all homes are rebuilt. More than 150 homeowners await volunteer assistance, and only 38 houses are finished. Annie Jacobs' home will be number 39. Senior class president Jason Cowley says there's still lots of help needed out east.
I think this is the last step, sort of icing on the cake before folks can move back in it. So we were pretty excited about that. It's been very good, very hands-on. You really get to, experience what exactly, the extent of the damage, I guess, that folks experienced down here from the hurricane, and get to know the fact that there's still a lot to do down here.
If you'd like to volunteer, contact the UNC Center for Public Service at 919-843-7568 or email them at cps@unc.edu or go to the group's website at www.unc.edu/CPS and click on Hurricane Floyd. Folks are still recovering from the flood we had here in Chapel Hill, including some local businesses. After heavy rains flooded it in July, the loop closed for 2 months for repairs. It reopened last week, and already customers are packing the house. They are all lining up to try the loop's signature items like piping hot pizza and tossed salads. The Loop, one of Chapel Hill's landmark restaurants, draws more than just a college crowd. Older and younger faces add to the mix, and most of them hope the Loop is here to stay.
The National Report Card is here for Carolina's class of 2000. The State Department of Public Instruction reports a 2-point rise in North Carolina's average SAT score this year, but the score still falls short, 31 points short of the national average. Students in Chapel Hill and Carrboro schools earned the highest mean score of 1175, more than 150 points higher than the national average. But students in several other counties didn't perform as well, bringing the state's average SAT score down. Many educators blame low SAT scores on the uneven distribution of resources to schools across the state. They also say the educational level of parents and educational support within a community are major factors in student performance on the test. Guidance counselor Katie Bradshaw says the highest SAT score doesn't mean the best education.
You're turning out well-educated people, and I think if you look at the final product, that's much more important and says much more about us as a state than some little number on a paper.
North Carolina actually has more students taking the SAT and attending college than some states with higher SAT scores. The city of Durham and tobacco are nearly synonyms. The city has been producing cigarettes for nearly 150 years. But as of Sunday, Durham's remaining cigarette manufacturer has made its last pack. The Liggett factory, located on Main Street in downtown Durham, moved all of its workers and machinery out of town. More than 220 factory jobs are leaving the Bull City. The company will relocate its manufacturing to Mebane, 2 miles away. However, the corporate headquarters will remain in Durham. The move will end Durham's tie with cigarette manufacturing that put it and the Liggett factory on the map, with its cigarettes, Bull Durham, and Chesterfield.
Well, enjoy the warm weather while it lasts. Cooler days are just around the corner.
Meteorologist Lee Ringer will have the forecast coming up next.
The United States has been infected with hepatitis B. 2 billion people in the world have had hepatitis B in their lifetime. 80% of newborns that are infected with hepatitis B are likely to have it for life. More people are infected with hepatitis B than HIV. Many people have it and don't know it. There is no cure yet, but it is preventable, and there is support and treatment. For more information, visit our webpage or email us at info@hepb.org.
Every 18 minutes, another name is added to the list of persons waiting for life-saving organs. In North Carolina, your decision to donate will not be carried out unless your legal next of kin gives consent at the time of your death, even if you've indicated it on your driver's license with a red heart. Share your life, share your decision, so that your wishes may be carried out for you and someone else's wish can come true.
All right, well, it looks like we had some really warm weather this weekend. What do you think?
Yeah,
really nice.
We did have some warm weather this week. I'll tell you what, some changes are on the way for the weekend. We'll talk about that in just a minute. But first, we have a trivia question for you all to think about while I do the weather today. Question. That weather question for today is about Hurricane Floyd, because we are in the peak of hurricane season. This time last year, we were beginning to deal with Hurricane Floyd. What caused the most fatalities during Hurricane Floyd? Was it A, flying debris? Was it B, storm surge, C, flooding, or D, tornadoes? Think about it. We'll give you a chance to think about it, and we'll have the answer coming up. But like we said, there have been a few nice days this week. In fact, some warm temperatures, kind of shorts and t-shirts weather around campus. Lots of folks enjoying that warm weather, but some changes are on the way. Let's take a look at what is affecting our weather during midweek here across the United States. And as we take a look at that, we have seen some frontal systems in the area. In fact, one frontal system moving through midweek, and then we're seeing this front in Canada will be moving down by Friday. As it does so, we will see some cooler air, in fact, much cooler air for the weekend. It'll also bring us a chance for some thunderstorms on Friday. We do see a little hurricane. That is Hurricane Florence. That is off the Carolina coast. It's been spinning there for a few days, but as these frontal systems move through, they're going to kick it out from the coast, so nothing to worry about. And we do have some changes in that forecast. So let's go ahead and take a look at the forecast for this weekend for our Carolina week forecast. Like I said, Friday during the afternoon, you can expect some thunderstorms. We'll see a warm temperature in the mid-80s, about 85 degrees, 65 degrees to start the day. On Saturday, as that front moves through, we're going to see much nicer weather. In fact, we're going to see mostly sunny skies for Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. Temperatures, you'll notice a big difference there. 73 Saturday, 74 Monday, and 75 on 74 Sunday, 75 Monday, and temperatures for morning lows looking pretty good into the low 50s. Well, this weekend, are you headed to the beach? Let's take a look at that beach forecast. Should be pretty nice there, too. Temperatures for highs into the upper 70s. Overnight lows in the low 60s. Be careful if you can be out in the water, though, because this Hurricane Florence is out there. It's creating quite a bit of undertow. For the mountains, looking pretty good there, too. Cool with highs near 70, lows near 50, mostly sunny. And how about that football game as Carolina's going to be playing down in Tallahassee, playing the Seminoles at Florida State. Should be pretty nice. A good bit warmer than it will be here. We'll see mostly sunny skies for a game time temperature of 90 degrees that Saturday afternoon. So looking pretty good for the weekend.
Sounds nice, yeah.
But gave you a few minutes to think about that weather question.
Oh, we've been thinking. We've been thinking.
I would think flooding.
You're thinking flooding.
That's right, and flooding was a big problem during Hurricane Floyd, and that was what caused the most fatalities, and that was flooding. It caused more fatalities than the high winds and other things we think about during hurricanes.
All right, well, thanks.
Thanks a lot.
The Heels continued their winning ways this past Saturday on the gridiron.
Coming up in sports, we'll have highlights of Carolina's victory against Wake Forest. Great. You did wonderful.
What could you do with a free hour of your day?
Take a jog,
Wonderfully.
wash your car,
Wonderfully.
bake a cake, or watch TV.
Ever thought about giving blood? It only takes an hour. It saved my life. Someday it may save yours.
A single pint of blood can save 3 lives. Be a hero. Give blood.
The second floor of Davis is where students go to pseudo-study. No real studying occurs here. Girls sit in the cushy chairs to scope out guys as they come up the stairs. I've never witnessed the exam break streaking that occurs there, but I'd like to see it before I graduate. No one knows the real Carolina like a student. Carolina Week, the student news show.
So how about them Heels?
Carolina's on a winning streak, hey?
Well, it's nice to get those 2 wins early on in the season under your belt for the rest of the season. Carolina football team is undefeated. The team has only played 2 games, but considering the way the team has started for the past 2 years, the victory against Wake Forest is an important one. Carolina's defense on Saturday looked a lot like the one that was the best in the country a few years ago. Kevin Knight here with the sack on Wake Forest quarterback C.J. Leak. Carolina's D had 8 sacks and held Wake to -4 yards rushing on the day. The offense looks pretty good, too. Ronald Curry with a touchdown pass to Sam Aiken. Curry was 6 of 12 for 143 yards and 2 TDs. Now watch these moves coming up by Bosley Allen as he takes it 60 yards for a touchdown. He had 2 catches for 111 yards and more than 150 yards returning punts. Carolina wins this one 35-14 and will now face the daunting challenge of beating Florida State in Tallahassee. Carolina improved to 2-0 this season, 1 win shy of last season's 3-win total. Carolina Week's Ayanna Banks explains the motivation behind the Carolina turnaround.
The Tar Heel football team seems better than ever, at least better than last year. Carolina beat Tulsa 30-9 in the season opener. In Game 2, defense stopped the Wake Forest offense in the second half of the ACC opener, helping Carolina to a 35-14 win. This is a far cry from last year's team that was 1-1 at this point. So what's made the big difference in such a short amount of time?
I think we definitely have a lot more confidence. I think that's one of the main keys to the reason why we're successful right now, and we have more athletes on this year's team. Guys are a lot bigger, faster, and stronger.
Player injuries and other team distractions didn't help any last season.
We are together as a team this season. Unlike last season, we had a lot of division. Everybody went on the same page.
Coaching and practice changes are helping solve that page problem.
Activities we used to do, like pulling the sled, pulling the trucks and stuff like that, doing it as a team, that made us build confidence.
Even with the Tar Heel 2-0 start this season, the question still remains, will confidence levels remain high as the Tar Heels face the Florida State Seminoles this Saturday in Tallahassee?
I think we all just gotta keep the same mentality and just go out and play hard as we can.
Against a Florida State team that's also 2-0 on the season. In Chapel Hill, I'm Ayanna Banks, Carolina Week.
The Tar Heel Seminole game airs Saturday on ABC at 3:30. The Nike Carolina Classic lived up to its name as Carolina dominated both soccer games. In the first game, Carolina hosted South Carolina. Kim Patrick started off the scoring in the second minute with this blast of a nice back heel from Meredith Florence. Florence netted her first of 4 goals. 3 minutes later, the first Lady Tar Heel to score 4 goals in a game since Debbie Keller in 1995. With the Tar Heels ahead 3-0, Jenna Klugel showed some fancy footwork. This was one of a few shots on goal for South Carolina, but it was blocked by Kim Patrick. Carmen Watley scored the last goal of the night, her first career goal. And for good measure, Danielle Borgman and Meredith Florence show their stuff as the Tar Heels cruise to a 9-1 victory. In the second game of the Nike Carolina Classic, it's all Tar Heels in this one. Already up 4-0, they add another one with a goal by Meredith Florence, her 5th goal in 2 games during the Nike Classic. Here on the corner kick, a header goal by Leslie Gaston with the assist from Jenna Klugel. The Tar Heels go on to win this one 6-0 to improve to 6-0 for the season. Next up for the defending national champions, a tough road trip down to Clemson. Turning to the men, they get fancy against Davidson. Chris Carrieri finds freshman Grant Porter for the goal from deep in the corner, giving Carolina the 2-0 lead. Later on in the first half, Ryan Kniper finds the back of the net with help from Sean McGinty and CJ Steffen. Moving to the second half, Porter is taken down in the box, drawing a UNC penalty kick. As a result, in the 75th minute, senior Michael Busey finishes the Tar Heel scoring with a well-placed shot, beating the Davidson keeper. Carolina wins 4-0 despite worries they would have a letdown after the Heels' most recent win, an upset of 4th-ranked Clemson. Carolina volleyball is looking great heading onto this weekend's Carolina Classic tournament. The team is now 7-1 after winning against Appalachian State Tuesday night. The team's top digger, senior Liz Feldman, sets up the sophomore Malaka Underwood for the winning spike. Carolina was led by sophomore Maury Green, who had 10 kills, including 1 here on the final play of the game that locked up the 15-8, 15-4, and 16-14 victory. Well, the U.S. women's soccer team kicks off its quest for gold this Thursday at 3 in the morning, so if you're up that late, you can watch the game, and the opening ceremony is this Friday.
Wow, it's exciting.
Yeah, see so many Tar Heels out there. That's
We'll
great.
have to look at that.
Yeah.
Well, anniversary celebrations usually call for a cake, but this one calls for a cookie.
See why, next on Carolina Week.
Women's Center, may I help you?
The Women's Center is a nonprofit agency that has served as a meeting place for women in the Triangle since 1979, making it one of the oldest freestanding women's centers in the country. The mission of the Women's Center is to provide a supportive community where all women can inspire each other to grow, both personally and professionally.
I was going through a crisis at home, and I contacted Helpline, and they referred me directly to the Women's Center.
I think the Women's Center is really important for the community because it offers so many different kinds of resources, and if we don't have the resource here, we can find an avenue or a way for women to find the answers that they need.
It is inspiring. It's so exciting to be a part of something that really matters and really changes things.
You can support the Women's Center through membership or by sending a contribution to the Women's Center, 210 Henderson Street, Chapel Hill, North Carolina, 27514.
A famous chocolate chip cookie maker is celebrating a quarter of the century this week. 25 years ago, theatrical agent Wally Amos opened the first Famous Amos store on Sunset Boulevard in Hollywood. It is the first store in the world to sell only chocolate chip cookies. The packaging was changed through the years, but the cookies are still made the same way, using the recipe that Wally used to make cookies for his friends.
Well, that does it for this edition of Carolina Week, our first edition of the new school year.
Thank you for joining us, and good night.